Hey, Amy, it's so great to have you here today on the Simplifying Entrepreneurship podcast. Welcome.
Thank you, Pete. This is so fun. I'm so excited to be able to join you today. So it's great to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have another person that's involved with the business made simple. And Amy, for those, most of the people listening to this podcast now know that I'm a business made simple certified coach. And Amy is the director of certified coaching at Business Made Simple. So it's really great to have her here today as part of the podcast and really excited to kind of go through some stuff that's not just about the Business Made Simple book and all of the stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about other things too. And the big question is, are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose in life?
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think there are two different mindsets, and you think about the big ideas. When you think about playing to win, are you all in, right? Are
Yeah.
you giving everything that you have, to achieve, whether it's a goal, it doesn't even have to be a huge goal or accomplishment, but are you in? Are you present? Are you engaged? Are you doing what it takes? Or are you playing not to lose? And that means, are you holding back? Are you choosing fear over growth? Because playing to win means you got to be vulnerable, maybe take some risks, put yourself out there, and that can be scary for people. And so, yeah, the idea of playing to win over playing not to lose is really comes down to choosing growth over fear in your life.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like those two words. And I think they're very powerful words, right? Are we looking for growth or are we looking to, you know, that is fear guiding us through that sort of stuff? And it's a choice, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think oftentimes, we've got limiting beliefs
Hmm.
or we've got, things that are just holding us back and we tell ourselves these stories, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I'm just going to play it safe or I just need to do this thing or gosh, if I take this chance or I put myself out there, I might lose
Hmm.
or I might and that's scary to people. So
It
yeah,
is.
I think and especially in today's world, after we all kind of got through last year and we're still
Hmm.
navigating through this uncertain times as well,
Exactly.
it's it kind of we have a tendency to want to play it safe. We want to just be like, let's just get to the next thing. And there's a risk, right? I think whenever you make those decisions, um, you are giving something up, right?
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned to you this, if I can, I call it the change formula, right?
Okay.
And what that is, it's really thinking about, what is the cost to take a risk or a cost to make the change, right? And until, if I'm willing to stay the same, I'm only willing to change when the cost is too great to stay the same.
Yeah, and that reminded. As soon as you were talking about that, it reminded me. I wrote a article a while back, and it was called "The Cost of Inaction." It's sort of similar in nature for sure. What is the cost of inaction? What's the cost of staying the same? Jack Welch. I remember a quote that he sort of said, and it's like, "Control your own destiny, or someone
Mhm.
else will." Right. So if you're just
Yeah.
going to stay the same, someone else is going to come in there, and that's the fear side of things. It's like,
Mhm.
right. So what are we doing to control our own destiny? And tell us a little bit about you know uh, redefining winning and losing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. And it's we all have, we have a choice, right? In life and work.
Hmm.
And um I think, it's having this courage and the willingness, right? To be vulnerable and to play to win. But redefining winning and losing really becomes kind of resetting your expectations. So many of us grow up and we're sort of like we've developed these beliefs and these ideas of winning and losing.
Yep.
And it becomes really have and have not,
Hmm.
right? It becomes an either or. And I think, if you actually can kind of reframe that and start to think differently, and instead of either or, it becomes an and,
Right.
right? It doesn't have to be, I can only have these two things. It's not a binary choice. Oftentimes it becomes Winning can be like, I can have these two things, right? They
Hmm.
can coexist.
Yep.
But I think also when you're redefining winning, it's also thinking about winning is no longer about that either or, but also if you rethink about winning is more about what am I going to get out of this as well, right? So even if it's kind of looking for the win is, did I learn something from this? Did I stretch myself? Did what other positive results came out of this thing? Just because I may not have achieved the goal or closed the deal or you know whatever that accomplishment is, what did I get out of it? And
Yeah,
if you can walk away and say I'm better, I've learned, I've changed, that can be winning.
exactly. You're taking the winnings from the loss,
Yes,
in a way,
absolutely.
right? And you're reframing that to say, the losings are learnings as opposed to losing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And absolutely. And it becomes really liberating, I
Yeah.
find, because it's like you don't have that pressure anymore. It's not like I've got to do this one thing. It actually creates this sort of this abundance mindset, right? It,
Yeah.
it sort of gets rid of that scarcity mindset. And it's like, all right, I can learn and I can, now I kind of know what I need to do differently next time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what I think about when you have to redefine winning versus losing. It's like let's kind of not be thinking in binary terms, or in that scarcity mindset, but also thinking about what is possible.
Right. And I mean, I think that's the next step, right? Redefining success. What does success look
Mhm.
like? And what do you want out of the whole thing?
Yeah, I absolutely. What are you kind of measuring yourself to? What are you measuring against? It's really interesting as I was kind of like, researching this and I read different articles and really think about this. It's really fascinating that there is no direct correlation between success and the feelings of joy, happiness, and emotional
Isn't that
security.
interesting,
Right?
right? That's
Yeah.
super interesting because most people would
Yeah.
think that there would be for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can personally tell you, I know there was a point in my career, I was still working in the corporate world. I had gotten to a certain like level within the organization. That was really excited about, and I was making, a salary I was excited about. I felt like I checked off all of these boxes. I got to the top
Hmm.
of the mountain that I sort of set out for myself. And yet I still had all of this, I didn't feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
Right. I felt like I was missing something. And I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be happy right now. And it really came at a great point in my life. And I made a big pivot and a shift. And I'm like, wait a second, what's really important to me? What's really going to make me feel fulfilled? Because fulfillment is really, if you start thinking about success, is really about fulfillment and feeling sort of complete. That is way more rewarding, right? When you kind of walk away from, maybe it's some material things or
Yeah.
maybe it's things, other people's expectations, when you really start to kind of focus inwardly. And that, I feel like, if you can redefine success in that way, it's liberating and incredibly rewarding.
I couldn't agree more. And I mean, from a corporate perspective or from a business perspective on the entrepreneurship side of things, right?
Yeah.
So many people get into their businesses and years later they're saying, like, this isn't what I was expecting or this isn't what I wanted out of it. But ultimately, it's up to us as the leaders and owners of the business to craft the business to deliver what it is we want. But until we actually know what we want, we know what we've defined that success. It's pretty hard to
Hmm.
craft a business that's going to allow us to do that.
Yeah. And think about too, so often, so many entrepreneurs, you get into business and you start doing this thing because it was a labor of love or a passion, right? You're like, you wanted to do this thing. You wanted to either build this product, offer this service, and then the business starts to grow and take off. And then you're like, wait a second, am I equipped and prepared to do this thing? And all of a sudden you have to do all these other
For
things to
sure.
grow the business,
Yeah.
to manage the business, or to navigate through things. And you're no longer getting to do that one thing that you started and you were passionate about.
Exactly.
And I think that is, I would, I know entrepreneurs, that's tricky to kind of manage that
Yeah.
balance. And, I think people sometimes, they wake up in the morning, you're like, wait, how did I get here? Right? How did I get so far away from that thing? So it really goes back, again, you got to constantly, and this isn't, I think when you're really thinking about success and redefining, what it means to, win or lose, this is work. It's a
It
discipline.
is.
You don't just say it, the words out loud and it's like going to be so. I think it's a practice, it's a mindset. And it sounds, I mean, I think
For
this, right?
sure.
I think, yeah, just in conversations we've had, um, you have to be very intentional and deliberate.
It's the biggest piece of what I coach to when I'm coaching my
Yeah.
clients is that we need to fully understand what you want out of this business so that we can then craft the business to deliver that. And so you get your personal, I often will say, transforming your worries and wants into wins. So what are those worries? What are those wants? And how are we going to craft this through frameworks and systems that are going to allow us to deliver that for you and for the rest of your team? So we look at that from the beginning, from the entrepreneur's perspective, the business owner, and then we also look at it
Mhm.
from the business. What's the business going to deliver? Right. And they're two separate things really, but they have to be unified in order for the ultimate goal of the entrepreneur to succeed, or else they're going to feel trapped.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Pete, I have to tell you, I think you do such a brilliant job how you can kind of take that, because what I'm talking about, it's a little bit on the softer, right? It's a
Yeah, it
little
is.
on those softer skills, but you do this amazing job of making it really easy to understand, but also showing how it shows, like make it tangible,
Yeah.
right? Like this is what it looks like in your work, in your business, in your life. And I think that's powerful because I think it's, we can talk about these ideas of like do what you love
Yeah.
and and redefine success, but it has to have a practical
Yeah.
application. So I think you do a really great job of showing people how to do that as
Oh,
well.
well, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. I really do. Amy, our time is
Yeah.
running light here already.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just have everybody, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, Amy, and learn maybe more about Business Made Simple coaching or anything
Yeah.
that we've talked about today, just let them know how they can get a hold of you.
Totally. Thank you. Yeah. If, I'll tell you guys, and I know it sounds like you're already familiar with Business Made Simple, but, really what we help people do is so many small businesses and entrepreneurs, they don't really know like how to figure out what might be wrong with their business or how it's struggling or how to scale it. And so we help people fix that. In fact, our coaches like Pete are the ones, those experts that will come in, they'll help you figure out what's wrong with your business and then how to fix it. So if you guys have questions, you want to reach out, you can find me at amy@businessmadesimple.com.
Awesome. Awesome. And I will include affiliate link basically down below here too. And that
Perfect.
will allow anybody to take our 60-day course, which aligns really well with the Business Made Simple course and book. So from that perspective, we will add that in and I'll put it in the show notes as well afterwards. Yeah,
Amazing.
cool.
Thank you so much. This was so fun to have this chat. And I again, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And looking forward to doing it again down the road.
Awesome.
Make it a great
Same.
day.
You
Bye bye.
too.